Hey, listen, if you're the Colts, the good news is you won this game. That's about it.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the game, but Anthony Richardson, and he is a talented young man who's basically in his rookie season. And
he's a fucking loose cannon, dude.
Okay. And I like the guy. Everything he does, when I see him talk, when I watch him conduct himself, he's a guy I like. And when you watch him throw the ball week 1, 75 yards, or the ball to I forget who it was.
Doolin.
Ashton Doolin. Or the shot in the second quarter that puts him in the red zone, you're like, hey, this can be the guy. But the third and shorts, the fourth and shorts, there were multiple in this game where he throws the ball and the crowd doesn't know how to react.
Right.
It looks like a throwaway.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff's got to get cleaned up, and I don't know if it's mechanics.
Yeah.
But, like if I were Indy, I'd have Peyton Manning in the building. I'd have and this is the thing, I don't know that QB coaches in the NFL actually work technique as well as the specialists do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They help you with the X's and O's. They help you with, setting the front, the protection, working with the offensive coordinator. But I don't know that guys in the building are working on technique in a specialized way where you're going to be able to put this fire out in a year.
Right.
So at some point, if you have aspirations of making the playoffs this year, you might turn to Flacco.
Right.
And give this kid a break, because as it stands right now, he's missing a lot of easy throws.
Yeah. And the stuff that he's doing really well, you talk about the week 1 stuff, the explosive plays. Flacco gives you that too. We saw that a lot last year in the stuff he did for the Browns, those big plays.
They haven't been that explosive since.
Right. But what you're missing with Richardson in there is just being able to stay on schedule.
Yes.
You referenced the money downs. It's the efficiency piece of just not being able to stay out there and churn out longer drives.
It's the efficiency, and listen, if you look at what they do really well, yes, he gives you some explosives with his legs, there's the threat of quarterback run, but I don't think their run game looks as good as it could.
Right.
Jonathan Taylor made a cut yesterday that was I'm watching him make the cut. It's the same thing I'm thinking when I'm watching Saquon accelerate and beat Lattimore to the pylon. It's this guy's special.
Yep.
And while that's happening, while I watch Saquon, I'm like, oh, he's in the right place. I watch Jonathan Taylor, and I'm like, is he going to waste his career here?
Right.
And we'll talk about this later. Maybe it's a thing where he's for sale at some point. They lost players in this game. Late in the game, they lost Kwity Paye. They lost 3 guys on the same drive. Kwity looks like he's out for a while. At one point, Kenny Moore went down. They lost, I think, Dallas Flowers on the same drive. They're banged up. They don't look right. And more than anything, okay, let me get to the lead. Gun to my head, you don't even have to show me the gun. I'm taking Caleb Williams over Anthony Richardson.
Yes. Some of the throws that Caleb Williams hit to Rome Odunze, dude, you're just looking at it, you're like, whoa.
Dude, this was a classic box score game.
Yeah.
If you looked at the box score, because this is a game we did not watch in real time. We had TVs for everything. And I was like, well, looks like Caleb had another bad day. You watch that tape.
Good.
You watch that tape. The only thing these guys had in common was the second quarter sequence where they both threw absolute dimes and then made stupid decisions and threw picks. They traded sequences like that. The rest of the game, yeah, there's miscommunications. The second throw of the game, Moore is running vertical. It looks like, Caleb's throwing a comeback. Swift and him had one. Odunze quit on a route, which is really good to have Kurt Warner calling the game. No, seriously. We all jokes aside, I think Kurt did a great job of when I see a young quarterback and he's the story of the game, I want a quarterback calling that game.
Yep.
And I thought it was really cool to like hear him say, well, I put that on Rome Odunze. Or, hey, that was an interesting decision when Caleb makes an interesting decision. Some of the throws he made, the one where on second down, and this came back because of a Darnell Wright penalty, I think. But he jumped in the air like he was a fucking dodgeball player. And he threw like a piss missile. Like it was like a ninja star, bro. This guy is, I see it. I definitely see it. And this was the first game where you could see it. Like the other two games, he was missing on these spectacular throws. And he didn't have time. Mm-hmm. And no, they couldn't run the ball. And it is laughable that you go into this game and throw the ball 52 times. And there were box counts that they said we want to get out of.
I thought this was a copycat league.
What do you mean?
Thought,
it's supposed to be a copycat league.
You would think that they would run the ball more.
It's supposed to be a copycat league. They look lost up front. You know, welcome to the NFL. You're a rookie quarterback. Again, I'm not feeling bad for him for this, especially when people put this team in the playoffs. But the thing you traded, and you have to be okay with this, and Matt Eberflus has to be okay with this, is we'll talk about Justin Fields in a little bit. And, Beau, I know you have that game pretty well covered. All I want to say about that game when we get there is Justin Fields. And, you know, there's a lot more to the game, but Justin Fields is more ready to operate right now. That offense is not ready to operate right now. Like, there is credence to the theory that you should have drafted Justin Fields and kept Justin Fields and drafted Caleb Williams.
Yep.
You know, think about, like, if he weren't so, and I'll give him this, off last week, he got murdered. You know, like, and I talked about his toughness. Mm-hmm. And then to come out of that this week with everybody, including myself, criticizing him for, like, middle of the field meet up with C.J. Stroud or, like, this decision or that decision or, you know, for him to come out and play the way he played, it wasn't perfect. He threw them some balls. But they actually looked like an offense at times. And so I would look at Shane Waldron and say, if you get down in the red zone and on 3rd and goal, you're going to block number 94 with number 11. I don't care who number 94 is. I don't care who number 11 is. League-wide, that's not going to work. Mm-mm. Okay? And then 4th and short, you're going to run a speed option. That's stuff I do in Madden when I'm high at 1 a.m. Right. You know, like, if you're not good enough to run the football into the end zone in the low red, maybe you weren't ready for a nice car like this.
Yep.
And so I have mixed feelings watching this team, and I say, like, your window is open, but it's not going to happen this year unless – and I said this 2 weeks ago. There's two teams in the NFL, ironically, if they figure out the quarterback, who are scary. The Bears and the Steelers. The Steelers look closer to doing that. Mm-hmm. The irony of this game is if Indy is not playing with their food, they run away with this thing. Mm-hmm. And so even as well as Caleb played, you're just not ready.
Right.
And I think that's the thing looking at Chicago. It's like you traded this year for the future. And the question is, how many people are going to be there to enjoy Caleb Williams' success? I mean, I think Poles and Cunningham have done a great job. But they took this gamble knowing full well that it might be a long play.
Yep.
And I see that watching, you know. But the long play could really work out because this kid's got some special stuff to him.
Yep.
He really does.